Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am happy to see you guys. Welcome. Okay, let's get right into the video. So today's class, welcome to class guys, welcome to class. So in today's tutorial, I'm going to be doing a makeup look as well as giving some skincare tips that could improve your overall skin condition, whether you are wearing whether you're wearing makeup or you're not wearing makeup. These tips could help you. And I'm not a certified esthetician. No, I'm not. These are just, I feel like these are general knowledge tips that could improve your skin, right? So you can consult a beautician for further skin concerns. So let's get right into this video. As usual, I'll be prepping my skin, and then I will be going ahead with the other products that go in. So I'm going to be starting with I think I just want to use rose water today, no toner. So I'm going to be using this rose water. It's almost done, guys. I am just like hanging onto the little one there. So I like to go ahead and spray it on my face. So I'm misting my face. To make sure I get it everywhere, and then I blow it down. So I have two toners that I use. You can use whatever brand, but I find that these ones, you can see them in Walmart. Hi, welcome to my live. The Teas you can find in Walmart, and the second one I have is St. Ives. But personally, I don't know. This brand tends to sting my face. I don't know if anyone goes through the same thing, but I don't know why. It tends to sting, so I don't use it as much. Hi, Jessie. How are you? Welcome to my live. Hi, Jessa. Welcome to my live. How are you today? Where are you watching from? Good to know. Good to know. Good to know. All right, so I like to. Hi, Elaine. Welcome to my live. So I like to make sure that the product has settled in. You're watching from Canada, nice. Hi, SL. Welcome to my live. Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome. Please give my video a thumbs up, share, and do keep on watching. So on my life, I do like a makeup class basically every day on my life. So today I'm doing like a makeup tutorial as well as giving like few skincare tips that I think can help anyone, whether you're wearing makeup or not. This should be good. Bye, Jessa. This should like be good skincare tips that could improve like your skin. So I went ahead to get my skin clean. Always, the first tip is always make sure that your face is clean and washed, or just make sure your face doesn't have any product on it. Wash your face, clean your face, cleanse your face. You can use a cleansing balm, you can use a facial cleanser to clean your face. This will take out any oils from your face, this will take out any impurities on your face, and then you can go ahead to start whatever you want to apply. So rule number one, clean your face. Hi Mike, how are you? Welcome to my live. So after I have washed my face, which I have done, I went ahead and sprayed my face. You can use a spray toner, or you can use a regular toner that you can use with a cotton pad. So I'm good, I'm good. So now that I am done with that, I didn't want to use a toner, but I'm going to use a toner today. So I used rose water on my face. Now I'm going to be using the tears on my face. So I like to tone, and then I will apply the next one. I am good, guys. I'm good. Oh yeah, I am using that on my face. I'm using that. I'm using my toner on my face. And now that my face is well, the product has sunk into my skin. Oh, hair from the cotton on, guys. Sorry about that. So now I like to let it dry down and then I like to go into the next product. I always say that it's good to let each product sink into your skin before you go on layering with the next one. So that is exactly what I am doing here. I like to have a fan just to assist me. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good to tone your face, guys. It is good. So now this is dry. The next thing I like to do, and personally this improves the overall outcome of my makeup, right? Using a serum. I like to use a very hydrating serum. This adds more moisture to my face and it makes my makeup come out looking dewy, which is the way I like my makeup, looking dewy. So I'm going in with my toner. This is Beauty of Johnson, the Glow Serum. This one has niacinamide, which is good, and then propolis. So I like to just put some on my face. I'm pretty generous with the serum on my face because I really, really like how glowy it is. So serums help, especially if you have like very dry skin. Serum helps to add more moisture to your skin. So if you have dry skin, you don't want to miss using the serums. So now I am applying it to the side. You can use a beauty blender to do this. You can use a brush, whatever you are comfortable with, you can use it. Me, I like to use my hand because the heat from my hand helps the moist the product to settle in. So your hand is good too. Just make sure that your hands are well washed and clean before before you even touch your face. Your hand should be clean because your hand can also add to the breakouts on your face. So like I said, I like to make sure that each one has settled in before I go ahead. So I'm using a fan just to speed it up. Then I will go into the next product. Okay. Yeah, serums are good. I believe that's what you're asking, right? Nick, are you asking me about the serum or the toner? Which one? So now the next thing I would like to apply is my moisturizer, and I'm using this one by Elf Skin. This one I use whenever I'm doing makeup, but when I'm just doing like skincare, I like to use the Cosrx, the hyaluronic serum moisturizer. It is super hydrating, so I really like that one. Whenever I wear it, like my face is always very glowy, so I like it. So I like to mix that Elf with the Thirst Drop. I'm just mixing two of them together because this is pretty hydrating, so I like to mix them together and then I apply it on my face. So I'm just going to make sure that everywhere is well moisturized, and I'm making sure not to skip under my eyes because that place too could be dry, so make sure you're not skipping it. So I like to look up. I know some people like to use like their eye creams when they do makeup, but personally I don't know. Maybe because I've never tried it, but I don't know. Just I don't even use eye creams regularly, so maybe that's why. Maybe I would try it using it with makeup. However, just do what works for you, honestly. So I am just pressing it into my skin. Okay. And now I would be getting it dry. Okay, almost there. You want to make sure it's really dry before you go ahead with your next product. So for some people, using a brush is really helpful because it just helps the product to like glide on your skin. So a brush too could be very good. So now I'm using my primer. To prime, I like to use the Milk Hydro Grip. And this product is very hydrating, so I like to go in with a lot of primer. So you definitely don't want to skip a primer in your makeup routine just because it helps in the longevity of your makeup. So always make sure you have a good primer. Now, if your skin is oily, you should be using more of a mattifying primer, but also do not skip moisturizing. Even if your face is oily, you want to moisturize as well. But I know there are some people's skin that is like super, like it overproduces the oil, like it's super bad. For that one, I don't know what other remedy. Personally, I haven't. I think I've worked with someone just once that her face was like secreting lots of oil. But then back then I was not as good as I am now. And then again, she was also pregnant, so perhaps it also contributed to the oil secretion on her face. Because like after I did the makeup like 2 hours, and she was a bride, so I felt so bad because like after like 2 hours the face was super oily, right? Although I had done the primer, everything, but the secretion was really much. So perhaps you might, I'm not sure. I'm not saying that I know. There is room for me to learn. Hi. Hi, Happy. Hi. Hi. How are you? I haven't seen you here for a while. How are you? So this is what it looks like. Buru Tati. What does that mean? So this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. All right, so I'm just going to blow it down. Then I'm going into the foundation. So I always use my Sephora, but today I'm going to switch it up a little. And I am going to go into my Maybelline. So I'll be using the Maybelline. So I'll be using this one in the shade 340. I may have to mix this just because I feel like it's still a little slightly lighter, but I would work it out. Let's get the primer to dry first, and then we shall be okay to go in with the foundation. All right, this is what it's looking like. I'm going to go ahead and apply my foundation. So I like to mix my foundation on a palette. So I'm just going to put some of it on the palette. Now this is a mattifying foundation, which I usually don't use, but we can do new things. So I will just be doing this. Okay, I like to mix it with the back of my spoolie. And I like to mix the products together. Wow, this is pretty light. I didn't expect it to be this light. Let's see. Still kind of light. Okay, not too bad. Okay. So I like to press the product into my skin. I'm gonna keep on picking it. Okay, this is not bad at all. So I'm just going to keep on blending it in. And this foundation is pretty lightweight, so I like that. And if you're just joining, I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me in the shade 340. So, but I mixed the foundation with this one to get the closest to my skin tone with the V Beauty in the shade Maroon 8. So I'm just pressing this, and I like to use a damp beauty sponge, not wet, a damp beauty sponge. I find that this really helps in the blending of the foundation. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply some to my forehead. And I just like to press it in. So what I find with this foundation is that it's actually medium coverage. Yeah, this is medium coverage, so it's not really a full coverage foundation. So you might have to build it up to get the coverage that you really want. So now I'm going to be trying to fix any part that I see that is not blended. Like I said, this is not a full coverage foundation, so it's not really giving me the exact coverage, but that's okay. We're trying something new, so this is not what I usually use. I usually use my Sephora and the V Beauty, but today I decided to switch it up just a little bit. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to be up. Hi Sting Edits. Hi, welcome to my live. How are you? How are you doing today? And where are you watching from? Okay. I don't know Indian language. I don't. I only know that there is Hindu, but I don't know any native Indian language. So I like to mix my concealer. So you can use a concealer, or you could just use like a darker foundation to get like your contour, which is what I am doing. I like to use a darker foundation just because it gives me the coverage that I really want, and it's super blendable. Well, thank you for translating. He's been here all my life and he's been doing that for a while, but that's his problem. I don't look like Pooh, do I? So that's his problem, not mine. Anyway, I'm going to keep on with this, and I'm going to keep on contouring. Thanks. And I'm just going to use a brush this time. I find that it's funny that people come to people's lives. You actually you leave what you're supposed to be doing to come onto someone's life to insult them. That's pretty shallow, and it's sad. It tells that a lot is going on with you and has nothing. Thank you. It has nothing to do with me, so I'm really not bothered. You really want to fix whatever is going on with you, and don't transfer whatever is going on to you to me. So anyways, back to makeup. So I have done like the contour, and like I said, I like to use the brush. Oh, thank you. Okay, thank you for being on my live. Please subscribe and share. I hope to see you again. So this is what it looks like. And I like to go ahead and use my beauty blender again, just to make sure that I get it really into my skin. So I'm going to be pressing it like so, and like so. And I'm going to keep on pressing it in. Oh, excuse me. And then I will go ahead and apply my blush. Already I like the outcome. It looks really good. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the blush. And for my blush, I like to use my Rare Beauty blush. This blush, I really love it because it's super blend. I don't have a son. No, I don't have a son. So this I like to use, and I am going to be applying this here like so. Now this is what it looks like. And I like to use the same beauty blender that I used for my contour, the same side, and I will be using it to apply my blush. And now what this does is that it really gives it that very unique blend. It gives it a seamless blend. So I recommend doing that. So I'm just pressing it in. This is what it looks like. As you can see, it looks very, very natural. It doesn't look like too much. It doesn't look like too much is going on, and I like that. And I'm going to do the same for here. And this is what it looks like. This looks so, so good. And I'm pretty content with what it looks like. So now I'm going to go ahead and apply my highlights. And to highlight, I like to use two concealers, but one is darker than the other. And to highlight, you can use like 2 shades lighter or 3 shades lighter, or you can use both. Now, what usually happens is that you put the slightly darker one first, and then you put the 3 shades lighter, if that's what you're going for. You put that in here just to give it more highlight in that corner. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Now I'm going to be using the Maybelline concealer in the shade, what's that shade again? 42, yeah, in the shade 42, and this is what I'm going to be using to do my highlights. I like to place it here like so. Now with this concealer, I tend to work really fast because it dries quickly, so I'm working quickly so it doesn't dry on me. So this is what it looks like. Now to blend it, I'm going to be using a brush, and I'm going to be putting some of that product on my mixing palette, picking it up with my brush, and I'm going to be blending it in. Like so. Now guys, what I really like about this concealer is that it blends so good and it doesn't give me like a hard time. So I actually recommend. This is the Maybelline Super Stay, their active wear. So I just keep on tapping it like so until it blends in completely. So this I'm just going to keep on pressing in. Just like so. And then I'm going to go in with my beauty blender. I find that the beauty blender has a way of really blending in like your products. I mean, your brush can do the same, right? But the beauty blender just has a way of making it look really good. So I like to go in with the beauty blender after I have used the brush. Okay. Now the next thing I like to use is this concealer. Again, I like to place it under my eye, like so. And then I place it like this. I do the same thing here. And then I place it here. All right. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is using the brush. And using the brush, I'll be placing it here like so. I like to look up when I'm blending this in, just so that I can get the under eye very well. And then I'll be moving it here. So I just keep on tapping it until it has blended in seamlessly. So I'm going to come here and do the same thing. I blend it upwards. So the reason I'm blending it upwards is because I want to get a slimmer figure on my face. That's the reason. So depending on how the kind of technique you use, you're going to give your face whatever structure that you want. So your technique actually does matter. And whenever I am doing like my under eye, I like to get my setting powder and keep it just close to at hand so that I can set under my eye immediately. Just because the under of my eye tends to, the under of your eye tends to like have fine lines and it can crease. And when it creases, it's going to make the under of your eye look very wrinkly. You don't want that. So make sure you have your powder close by. And remember to look up. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and do it here. And I like to move the brush to my eyelid, just like so. I'm making sure this blends in smoothly. And I'm going to go back with my beauty blender. Just to get it looking nice and super blended. I want it looking like it's inside my skin. So I'm using my beauty blender. This looks good right now. You can see that this still needs a little bit of work. So I'm going to continue blending it until I get a seamless blend. Okay. This is what it looks like. So now this is the part where people like to use like a lighter concealer just in the inner corner. It's totally optional. It depends on what you're going for, but just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to be doing that as well. So I'm using the Rimmel concealer in the shade, what's the shade again? 070 Honey. So I like to place it here and here. What you definitely don't want to do is going all over with it. You're gonna regret it. Remember, it's really light, so you just want a little bit, right? Not too much, just a little bit, just to elevate this place a little. That's basically what you're doing. So I'm gonna do this one first. Okay. And I'm just gonna keep on blending it. So this is what it's looking like. And I'm gonna go straight ahead, getting my brush, picking up my setting powder, tapping up the excess, and I'm going to press this into my skin just to set it. Now, although this is the last one that I blended, I like to set it first. So if you maybe forgot and you did this one first, I suggest that you set it immediately you've blended it, right? So that it doesn't crease. All those fine lines will crease if you don't set it immediately. So I just like to press the powder. Then I'm going to go ahead and blend this one. So with concealers, you definitely want to work fast. If your concealer is like a fast blending concealer, you want to be quick with it, because once it dries, it's gonna have a patch. If it dries and is not super blended properly, you're going to have a patch there. And the only way to actually really fix that patch is just to take just a teeny bit of the concealer and apply it there again. But the problem is that you might end up having the super bright if that's not what you're going for. So work quickly. So this is what it's looking like. I'm going to grab that powder again, do the same thing, picking up the powder, tapping off the excess. You want to tap that excess off. And then I will be placing it. I will be placing it like this. Super easy. Now you can also use your beauty blender. What I would suggest is picking up the product, tapping it like so, and then going in with your blender. So if you find that you are someone who works really good with your beauty blender, you can set your under eye with your beauty blender as well. Doing that, tapping it off, and then applying it. So using a super soft beauty blender would help your blending process overall. Trust me, guys, this makes the difference. And the best way to get your beauty blender to really work for you is to make sure that you soak it in water, and then make sure that it's damp and not wet, guys. Not wet. If it's wet, it's going to be a disaster. So make sure you squeeze out all the water and use a damp beauty sponge. So I'm just pressing this in like so. Just like so. And then I'm going to be contouring my face using my contour powder. I like to take this palette and get a darker shade, and this I'll be using a brush to dispense all over my face. Like to tap it off, always tap off the excess. So if you can see, I'm moving it in an upward pattern. I like to move it like so. This is what it looks like. And then I am pressing this into my skin. And this is what it looks like. Now I'm going to be setting my blush as well. Guys, do not forget your blush. So I'm going to be setting my blush. To do that, I'm taking a blush brush. Oh, you always feel like a tongue twister when I want to say blush brush. So I'm taking the brush and I'm just picking up the blush. Today I'm going to be using like this shade, this one. I'm going to be using that for my blush shade. And I am just pressing it in. You can also use your beauty blender to apply your blush. Guys, your beauty blender can do a lot. I think I should do that next time. Just makeup with beauty blender. That will be fun. So, as you can see, it looks very subtle. I actually like the way it looks. So I'm just going to keep on applying it until I have gotten it where I want it. Then I'm going to go ahead and do this one. So I like to press it in, like so, until it has blended in. So this is what it looks like. Guys, I love how subtle this looks. And now I'm going to go ahead and do my brows. I'm always excited to do my brows because it always comes out very nice. So I love that. So to do my brows, today I think I want to use like a gel to do my brows. So let's get ready and get into it. Now the first thing I like to do is to grab my hair gel. Just a teeny bit is all I need. Grabbing my spoolie brush, I'm going to be brushing this and then brushing up my hair. Good, guys, it's growing back. I might have to do some work. So I just like to brush it upwards, like so. If you haven't seen my tutorial for how to do your brows, you can go ahead and watch my video. Check my page, you'll see it there. So I like to just get the hairs the way I want them. And then I'm picking up that powder, tapping the excess off, and then I'm going to be setting my brows with my setting powder. See what it looks like. I'm going to do the exact same thing here, brushing up the hairs. Like so. Just until I am satisfied. Okay. And now I'm going to go in with that setting powder. Like so. And we're looking good, guys. Now let's get into the brows. I can't find my brush as usual, guys. Guys, pardon me. It's a disaster in here sometimes. So. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. So I am going to be using a very sharp brush. This brush is very, very flat and it's angled. So it makes doing my brows pretty easy just because it can go in the angle that I want it to. So now let's get into this brows. I'm always excited to do my brows, like I said, just because it's super easy. So I'm picking up this. This is actually a lipstick. I like to use it for my brows. And it works perfectly. So I'll be using this as a gel. I like to use this brush. This is a very flat angled brush. See, it's almost like there's barely any bristles. So this I'll be using to pick up the product. And then I like to follow the natural line of my brow. Steady hands are the key. So I like to start from here just to get that curve. And then I pull it downwards like so. So this is basically like outlining the brow. And then I go here. And when I get to the front, I'm very light-handed. Just because I don't want it thick. I'm going to go ahead to the top now. Then I'll be working on it. Like so. Like this. And I just keep going until it is good enough. So this looks pretty good. So I'm just going to go ahead and be adjusting any part that I feel like needs to be adjusted. So I didn't do anything extra, just follow the natural pattern of my brow. And this helped me to come up with this really gorgeous brow. Now I like to take my pencil, get it, I'm gonna sharpen it until it's super sharp. So sharp pencil helps in your brows. This is what it looks like. Guys, thanks for giving my video a like. Please share and subscribe. So I like to do this just to add a little more volume to the brow. And then I'm going to go back in with that brush. And I'm pretty content with this, so I'm going to go ahead and do this one. Now I'm going back into that gel. So this product actually dries really quickly, so I like to work quickly before it dries up on me. I'm going to do this one. So I like to have my hands in a steady position. And this is what it looks like. I love the way this comes out every time. So when I get to the front, I'm going to be very light-handed. And this is what it's looking like. I'm going to do the top as well. Just following that pattern, like so. And then I extend it out. So I see that this one is longer than this one, so I'm just going to go ahead and fix it. And this is what it's looking like. And I go ahead and go in with that pencil. I'm going in with my pencil. And I'm just going to be adjusting anywhere that I think needs to be adjusted. Like so. And this is what it's looking like. So I'm going to wipe off the excess and then I'm going to clean this up. Now this one is slightly longer, don't worry. I'm going to fix it with my concealer. And I like to use two products to conceal the brow and to clean it up. So I'll be using this and yeah, basically two foundations. So you can use your foundation. Alright guys, I like to use a rounded brush to clean up the brow. I find that it works well and it gets into like the corners very well. So an angled flat brush too would work very well, but this is my preference. So I like to go into that corner and just adjust it a teeny bit. So I like to clean it up at the curve, like so. This is where you have the brow bone, so I'm just highlighting the brow bone. Oh no, guys, I made a mistake. And you see, this happens, right? But to fix it, you can just use your pencil. My pencil is blunt, so I'm gonna go ahead and get it sharpened just a little bit. I like to use sharp pencils, like I said. It helps you really get your brows very clean. So I'm using a pencil. I'm going to be adjusting it from here. Just to get it back. And then I will go back into that concealer. And then I'm blending it all the way. So this is what it's looking like. I'm going to run my brush through it again. And then I will use the darker one. So now that I have done this, I like to wipe off all the products and go into the darker one. And the darker one I like to place on this part. Okay, this is what it's looking like. And you see, why I like to use like a darker shade or a shade close to my skin tone is that it really just blends into the skin and it makes the blending easier. So I like to go in here with that darker shade. Like so. And then I'm wiping off the excess just like so. I'm using a basically empty brush. I'm going to be going to the top to fix the top. And for this, I like to go like so. Just around. Like so. So this is how I get the brows looking nice. And then now I'm going to blend everything in. I like to get a fluffy brush and then I just blend. And then I just tap it in like so. So this is what it looks like. Guys, this looks nice. I'm going to go ahead and wipe off the brush, and I'm going to go ahead and fix this one too. Now I'm going back into that light concealer. We're going to go ahead and clean this one up. So the goal is to get both of them looking really close. So I'm going to try to do that as much as possible. Your brows, they're sisters, they're not twins. Oh, they're not identical twins, so don't bother if your brows are not exactly the same, it's fine. Just try to get it as close as possible. I'm going to clean it just like so. Okay, I like to go in with that brush. All right, this looks close enough. So now I'm gonna go ahead and wipe off the brush. Then I'm going into the darker concealer. And this I just like to place in here. Like so. And then I'm going to go ahead and go to the end and do the exact same thing here using the darker shade. I like to pull it down, and that is what it's looking like. Now I'm going to wipe up the excess, and then I'm going to go to the top and fix it. Okay, almost there, guys, almost there. Okay, guys, and this is how we get our brows done. So now I'm going to go ahead and go into the brush, and now I'm blending it in. Simple and easy. This is how you get your brows done. And now I'm going to go ahead and contour my nose, and then I will do my eyeshadow. I love doing my eyeshadow because it's always very nice and gives the eye a pop of color. So almost eyeshadow time. So the second skincare tip that I would give, I totally forgot I was giving you guys skincare tips, guys. So the second skincare tip is to always moisturize. Now from your from your head to your toes should always be moisturized. Actually, your face should always be moisturized. Your lips should be moisturized. Your lips shouldn't be chapped. They should always be well moisturized. So you can use a lip balm or lip oil. Just make sure that they are always moisturized and not cracked. So as much as possible, try to have them handy. Try to have like a lip balm handy, and also when you do your shower routine, you always moisturize afterwards. So that will improve like the texture of your skin and the longevity of your skin as well. So just as you um, water plants, moisturizer is the water for your face. It's not the water. Your face should actually always be moisturized. You get the point. You get the point, right? So your lips as well, like I said, just like you shower and you moisturize your skin, right? The same thing for your face. Make sure that it's always hydrated, it's always moisturized. And yeah, of course, drink water, right? But remember to moisturize. Okay, this is what it looks like. This is how I get my nose looking really contoured. I don't really use the cream contour method. I find that this is faster and easier for me. So powder contour, if it's something like you struggle with, using the powder contour can really change that for you. All you have to do is make sure that your nose is concealed, like the bridge, should be the bridge of your nose, yeah. Make sure that it's concealed, right? Then you go ahead and use your powder to contour. That is all you need. If you struggle, even if you don't struggle, right, is also faster. I find that this is faster. But if you're very good with like using the cream contour, then by all means go for it. So this is what I am doing. Just placing this into my skin. And then I like to use like a lighter brown just to get it looking softer towards this place. And then I'm going in here with a darker brown. So I'm just going to keep on going until it is well blended. And then I will go ahead and do my eyeshadow. So this looks pretty good to me. I'm going to go ahead and start my eyeshadow work. Now I like to use an eyeshadow primer for my eyes just because it lets the eyeshadow to really pop. So I'm going to be grabbing a brush and I'll be picking some of that primer and I'll be applying it to my eye. Okay. So I'm just placing some of it on my eye like so. Just gonna take this out. So I'm just placing this. I like to place just a little bit of white eyeshadow primer. This is going to make your eyeshadow really pop. So I like to use a brush to blend it in. I'm just tapping it in until it's well blended. Like so. And just keep on tapping it until it's well blended, like I said. Just to make sure that I get a good amount on there. This is what is going to make that eyeshadow really, really, really pop. So this is what it's looking like so far. Then I'm going to go ahead and do the second one. definitely don't want to skip an eyeshadow primer just because I find that it really makes each color pop more on your eyes. So don't skip your eyeshadow primer. And if you don't have an eyeshadow primer, your concealer will do just fine in elevating the eyeshadow look. So eyeshadow works too. Sorry, concealer. What am I saying? Concealer works as well. So you don't have to fuss if you don't have the primer. So I'm just using the brush to tap like so. Just tapping it like so. And this I'm just tapping in like so. Okay. So this is what we're looking like. Let's get into this eyeshadow work. Now, today I'm going to be going for like, let's see, what do I want to do on my eyes today? I'm going to start first by applying the brown like I usually do. And then I will be using an orange as well, just to transition at the top. So let's go into the shadow. I'll be using this palette today, the Focallure Endless Possibilities. And I'll be taking the Choco Fist and then I'll be placing it here. I'm just tapping it on my eye, like so. I like to tap it and then I will be using a smaller brush to blend it out. So. I'm just placing it in like so. I like to place and then blend afterwards. So this I'm just placing it here. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing here. Just placing it there. And I like to work in like small sections until I have gotten it looking nice. Okay, then I'm going to go in with a smaller brush just to get the crease. And this will really focus on that crease. Okay, back into the brown. I'm going into that crease. Guys, don't do what I just did. I didn't tap off the excess. So this is what it looks like when you don't tap off the excess. But luckily, we can make it work. So just keep on blending it until it looks good enough. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing here, just focusing on my crease alone. I really want to get the brown in there. Okay, this is what it's looking like. And then I'll be using another brush and picking up an orange shade. I'll be blending it all out. Now to do that, I'm going to be using this palette, the ZKL palette. And this, I'll be picking another brush just to blend it all out. We want to blend it all out. We want to blend it all out, guys. And I can't find my brush. Where has my brush gone to? Oh boy, guys, I can't find my brush again. I'm just gonna... I give up, guys. Found it. So I'm picking up the orange shade. And this I'll be using to blend it all out. I'll just be putting it in here. So I'm going to be holding it at the bottom like so. This helps me to be able to move my hands freely to really give me the effect that I want. So I'm just going to keep on blending it like so. And this I'm targeting just for the top because I am smoothing out that black. I'm sorry, the brown, to give it a lighter look so that it doesn't look as harsh. I'm just blending it all out. And this is what it's looking like. And I like to move it into the brow, like so. I'm going to do the same thing here. I like to just keep on moving. I'm just moving that orange in here, moving it all the way to my brow. Until I have gotten it looking super nice. So I think it looks pretty good. I'm just gonna work this here just a little bit. Now I'm going to go in with the next shade. Now I don't really want to do a cut crease, so I'm going to be using my brush to create a cut crease. So I like to pick up a very pigmented shadow. I'm using this one, My Lady. And this I'm going to be placing just to give me the illusion like I did a cut crease. This is going to make it freer than using like a concealer to cut the crease. This works good as well. Just gives you a free cut crease and not the very technical one. So just gonna get my brush. Just gonna get my brush. So I'm picking that shade, and you have to be careful when you're working with pigments because they tend to fall out. And this I am placing here like so. Now because the brush is really is rounded, it helps me to give that cut crease illusion. So I'm just placing that glitter or that pigmented shadow just here. This is where I am placing it. I'm going to keep building it up until I have a very good yeah, I think I like it. And I'm gonna go ahead and do this one as well. Like I said, be very careful with pigments because they tend to fall out. You can also place like a powder under your eye so that it can trap like the excess pigment or glitter if you're using glitter. So I'm just placing this like so into that shadow. Like so. And this is what it's looking like. I'm going to go ahead and do this like so. And because I didn't cut the crease, I'm using my brush to create like a cut crease illusion. So that is why I'm going like that. And that is all you need, honestly, for this eyeshadow. So I'm going to be taking a brush just to remove any excess glitter that fell. Just gently. Taking up the excess glitter. And this is good, so I'm going to go back in with that brush just to fix the end here. And where's the brush? Guys, I picked up the wrong brush. So I'm gonna go back in just to get this one looking nice. That's all. So I'm gonna go back in here. And this is what it looks like. And the next thing I'm doing is getting my eyeliner. And I like to get one of these so that I don't ruin like the makeup on my face. So this I like to just run over like so. And this brush is really thin, so it makes it easier to work with. So I like to draw the outer corner, and then when I get to the inner corner, I go very thin. Just like this. Now your eyeliner should really depend on your eye shape. I can go thin or I can go thick just because I have a lot of eye space to work with. But today I really want to go thin with my liner. So I'm going to go ahead and do the second one. So don't just go ahead and copy anyone you see doing an eyeliner. You really want to work with your eye shape. I know for hooded eyes, they really need to do like thin liners just because their eye space isn't so much. So know your eyes. So I'm gonna go in thinner. And this is it. Now for the bottom one, I like to run it with a roll-up liner. Like I always tell you, this brand is the one I stick to because theirs is very, very pigmented. And I just roll it up like so. And I like to hold this part, running it on my waterline on the top. I'm going to go ahead and do this one. I like to run it on the waterline on the top and the bottom. Now I'm going to hold this part and run it on the bottom. Like so. I'm just running it on the bottom. And this is what it looks like. Just like this. And this is done. Okay, the next thing I want to do is to remove any excess powder. And I use the brush like this. I'm going to go ahead and blend this up and then set the rest of my face. I'm going to press some of that powder in here. And this I like to press in here. Then I'm just blending all of this. And then the next thing I like to do is to grab my powder brush and I will be applying the powder everywhere. Grabbing this, and I like to press the powder onto my skin like so. I'm just setting the rest of my face. This helps to bring everything in together. So you definitely don't want to skip this part. Okay. This is what it looks like. Okay. So far everything is looking nice. I'm just going to run over the powder just a little more. So this is what we're looking like. Now I'm going to go ahead and apply some of my mascara. And this I like to brush up like so. My lashes are so thin, so it doesn't really look like anything is happening. I like to brush it from up, like so. And this just improves the overall outcome. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing here. And I like to apply it from the top as well. And this is what it's looking like, guys. If you apply a mascara well, you actually appreciate the volume that it adds to your lashes. And now I'm going to do my lips. I like to take off like the lip balm or whatever I put on my lip gloss, balm, whatever, take it off so that you can be able to put the product without it moving. This is what it looks like. Today I will be using this, and I'll be using the brown pencil. I like to roll it up just a little bit, and I like to line my lip like so. I'm just lining it like this. Like this. This is what it looks like. And I'm going to line the bottom like so. Like this. Now I like to get a brush, a lip brush, and then I like to blend this. Like so. Like so. And once this is blended, I'm gonna go ahead and pick another shade. Today I'll be using this lipstick from Maybelline. Is in the shade 95 Captivated. So I like to shake this up just a little bit, and then I'll be applying this. Use a brush, guys, use a brush. So I'm just placing this like so. So this lipstick is a very lightweight lipstick, so you may have to go with many shades. I'm just placing this, blending it into that brown. just like so. Okay. And this is what it's looking like. Guys, I love it. It looks really nice. And I like that. So I'm gonna blend the top here like so. This is what it's looking like. It looks really good. But just for like an extra effect, I'm going to go in with this Maybelline Super Stay. And this I'm going to be applying just on the inner corner here. Like so. So I'm just blending it in with my brush. This kind of transforms the lipstick, right? And I'm just blending it in as much as I can. So today I'm going to do what I usually don't do. I'm going to wear it matte. And I know I like to wear lip gloss, but today we're doing matte. So this is it. So I'm going to go ahead and using this spray. This is the Maru Better Screw. I'm going to be using this to do the first spray, and then I'll do the second spray. Oh boy. I'm gonna grab a fan and just blow it down. So when you spray, it kind of just breaks down the powder and it doesn't look like too harsh anymore. So I'm just going to do this. And today I've decided to do something different, which is using a mattifying spray. Guys, new things, new things. So I'll be using the mattifying spray after this. But like I said, make sure all the products dry. This isn't yet dried. I'm just gonna make sure it dries completely. Next thing I'm gonna be spraying on my face is this spray. It is the Miss Metics Silhouette Spray. This spray is a mattifying spray, so let's brace ourselves, guys. Okay, so I'll just be blowing this dry. Just making sure it's dry. When I am done with this, then I will go ahead and use my mascara on the bottom lash. So number 3 tip is to wear a sunscreen. So the first tip I said was always have a clean skin before you apply any product. The second one is to moisturize your skin. The third one is to make sure that you wear sunscreen. Now, whether you wear makeup or you're not wearing makeup, you should wear sunscreen, especially if like where you stay is very sunny and you tend to go out a lot. So you have to wear your sunscreen so that your skin is also protected, both when you wear makeup and when you don't wear makeup. Your skin is always protected. So don't skip the sunscreen. Wear sunscreen. Then tip number 4, guys, is make sure that your tools are always good. Now, whether you're using your hand to apply your makeup product or whether you are using a tool or brush, a silicone blender, whatever it is you're using, make sure it's clean. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. The best way to make sure that like your skin stays fresh, clean, and you avoid lots of breakouts is to make sure that your products, your tools are always clean. So always wash your brushes after makeup, always wash your beauty blender, make sure they're always clean so that you don't transfer dirt or build up on your skin and cause your skin to break out. And the final tip, guys, is to sorry guys, the final tip is to always make sure that you use the right products, right? Especially for your skin type. If you're someone who has like a sensitive skin, you don't want to just use anything on your skin. You have to make sure that whatever you're using is compatible with your skin. The same with if you're like an oily skin or like your dry skin. You can't go ahead and be putting like mattifying products on your skin when your skin tends to be dry, especially some people have like extreme dry skin, right? So if you have extreme dry skin, you have to be careful what you put on your skin. The same for oily skin. If you have super oily skin, you don't want to go ahead and put tons of products that will make you even produce more oil, right? You want to balance everything because your skin is already overproducing, is over secreting oil. So you want to manage that as much as possible, right? So use the right products for your skin and you will achieve like a good clear skin. So a bonus tip is always smell nice, guys. Make sure you smell nice, please. You don't want to do all the makeup and look good and not smell nice. So please, very important. Always smell nice. Whether you're wearing makeup or you're not wearing makeup, it is a good thing to smell nice and look good all the time. So guys, these are my 5 tips for a good skincare. I feel like anybody can apply these tips to themselves and it would work very good for you. So guys, I'm gonna apply the mascara and this makeup look will be complete. So I have done all the sprays, so I'm gonna be putting the mascara on my bottom lash and that will be the end. So I like to apply mascara on the bottom lash just because it really elevates the look. But if you're like someone who has a very sensitive eye, you may want to skip this. Because some people have really sensitive eyes. Like I've worked with people who their eyes are super sensitive. Like my friend, her under eyes are extremely sensitive. Like all she needs to do is just see your hand coming close like this and she starts to water. So if you're like that, you might just avoid putting anything under your eye. Okay. However, if you do insist that you still want like products under your eye, you just have to work in like small sections. So just do a little bit, let it sit for a bit, then you go ahead and do the little and complete it. I find that with people who have sensitive eyes, when I work with them, I like to either tilt their head backwards and apply the product, maybe mascara, to the eye, or I just apply a little bit, let the eye rest a bit, and then I complete it. So that's another way you can do it if you have sensitive eyes and you want to put product there. Okay. And so guys, this completes this makeup look. I really love it. I love how it turned out. I'm just going to run my powder brush over my face again, and that will be the end of this tutorial. Guys, subscribe to my channel, like my videos, share, comment, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye. See you tomorrow.